You ready?
It's your show. It's your world I'm just living in.
All right, let's call the meeting in order. Everybody please stand. Say the pledge and prayer. All right, we do the Lord's Prayer.
Blessings you've given us, look over us, watch over us, protect us, so we may do your will. Bless those who serve and protect us. In his precious name we pray. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Zach? Morning, everybody.
Morning.
Pull your mic over. Thank you.
All right. Oh, I'll go ahead and. Just in case. Thank you.
I'll get confused. Okay.
Too many?
Yeah.
That newest one.
Yeah, this is
I might.
a little bit easier to read.
Yeah, I'll take it. We'll share.
There you go. All right, there you go. It's a little bit bigger. See you're covering well. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. There you go, sir. Okay, in front of you, I got a little spreadsheet here just to show you the kind of the expiring cost to the county of what you all are projected to pay through the September to September. You had voted in the last week to reduce the employer contribution across all tiers 10%. You all had asked me to look at another option and several other options with deductibles. That last row there is the lowering of the employer contribution, not by 10%, but 5%. And as you can see, that does help the employees quite a bit there. If you look at the $3,300 deductible option, the employee-only rate on the expiring plan was $31.46 a month. What you voted in last week was $107, so it was about a $76 increase per month. By doing the 5% instead of the 10%, it would only it goes only to $40 increase from expiring. So it would go from 31 to 71 instead of 107. And we can go across each tier. On the employee-only $1,000 deductible option, which is the most enrolled in the county. There's 73 currently enrolled in the $1,000 employee-only option. The expiring cost per month for the employee is $109.99. What you had voted in last week was $209.25, so it was an increase of about $99 a month. With going to, if you look at the 5% across all tiers, that kind of cuts that down in half, increase-wise. So in the expiring cost of 109, it would go to 167, so a $57.41 per month increase instead of 99. So kind of in the middle there by doing the 5% instead of the 10%. The employee child rates, obviously that's going to run more. Expiring is $418.44 a month for the $3,300 deductible option. If you had done if you do the reduction of 10%, it went to $615, which is a $197 increase for the month from expiring. Doing the 5% instead of the 10%, you're looking at only $128 instead of $197. And that would be $547.09 a month. And then the last option there with the employee child on the $1,000 deductible option, expiring cost is $557.27 a month for the employee. Last week's option to reduce 10% employer contribution made it look like it was going to increase $237 on the employee per month. By doing 5%, it would increase $158. So it would be going from $557 to $715 instead of $795 per month. The expiring cost, if you didn't change anything and you just renewed as is, was going to amount to $155,956 increase to your all's budget, the county budget. Last week's vote reduced that to $44,965, and then if you do the 5% instead of 10%, you're kind of meeting in the middle there of $79,729. So it's kind of a split of employee taking half and the county taking half on this increase. I was asked to look at different deductible options, and I've done that, and that's on this sheet right here. When you look at raising the deductible, a couple things. Your deductible is calendar year. Our plan year is September to September, but our deductible and max out of pocket, what we accumulate through the year, that's all calendar year, January 1st to December 31st. So you always got to be worried on that. If somebody's already hit their deductible throughout the year already and you raise it, well then that changes the game for the last 3 months for that employee. So that's something you got to be aware of when you do look at that. But I did alternative options, and just say the $3,300 deductible plan. If you look to increase it to $4,000, so a $4,000 deductible option instead of a $3,300, the net change instead of, let me go down here to the 5% reduction. You're looking at about a $5 difference. Instead of a net change from expiring to new costs for the employee only from the $3,300 deductible option to a $4,000, the net change is just less than $5 a month to the cost to the employee. So then we looked at $5,000, which was a pretty drastic change from $3,300 to $5,000. But just to give you an idea, employee only net change right now with the 5% was going to be a $40.52 change. If you go to the $5,000, $32.84. So it's tough to see that being an option really at this point. I mean, it's totally up to you guys, but the pricing, relief that goes to the employee, if you did that, it's not much at all. We looked at the $1,000 deductible, changing that to potentially a $1,500 and a $2,000 deductible options. Again, going from $1,000 to $1,500 to the employee saves them $4 a month. And then going to the 2,000, you're looking at about a $7 difference per month savings. So it's a tough spot. And then, like I said, if you go and change deductibles, if somebody's already hit those, you're kind of putting them into a little bit of bind of having to come up with more money for these last 3 months.
So basically, the deductibles we got, we're at the teetering point anyway.
Yeah.
So I went around and talked to a bunch of people, and some of them said they didn't mind just to get it out and open to raise the deductibles. We tried it. Me and Zach spent hours on it yesterday. It's not there to take. It's not beneficial to the employees at that point, so.
Yeah, the amount of increase to the deductible
Right.
versus what the benefit of lowering the cost to the employee per month, there's just not that big. I mean, if it was something where there's some meat in it of savings, then it would, yeah, definitely something to look at. So yeah, that's unfortunately just didn't look like it was going to save enough there.
The overall insurance this year went up 14.5%, right?
Initially, it was in 24. We got that negotiated down to 14.
Right.
But yeah. So I guess initially it looked a lot worse, but we did get that down to 14%.
Well, it's been a problem ever since I've been here, and we've talked about, we knew this day was coming. And insurance has been one of the biggest problems we've had ever since. But it's come to the standpoint, the taxpayer is who we have to look at too. And we've tried to give raises and try to conserve where we can conserve to where we could give raises, but that's changing too. And then, I hate to keep throwing it in, we don't know what SB 1 is gonna do. To be honest, it's a hard decision, but we can't keep going like we're going. Checked into different ones. Some say they want to go $5,000 and $6,000 on deductible. That's an awful big bill if you need it.
I don't think they wanted that big of a jump, so.
Yeah, we just looked at
But-
just to see if there was any kind of
Right, well, I mean, we looked
savings.
at smaller jumps, bigger jumps. I mean, Zach was excellent to work with, and we done our due diligence to try to get it down. It's not there feasible at this time.
At this time, yeah.
I think we need to work on in the future, getting it on the year plan so we don't have this, because it's gonna come a day where we gotta raise these deductibles. We all know that, so. To make it affordable for the employees and the county, and I think it's coming across every county is what I'm hearing, so.
Yeah, on medical costs to the employer and also the employee, but on the employer side, it's usually right underneath, it's like number 2 on the budget item, is the medical insurance. And, it just keeps on going up. And then you always want, your payroll to increase as well, paying the employees. And it's just, those are 1 and 2 usually on budgets and for employers. There's been handling a lot of groups. It's getting tougher each year for the employer to figure out how they're going to afford the same plans. And you do see some change the deductibles to help offset the cost. With the amounts that you guys contribute to them employees, if you didn't have probably as much employer contribution that you do, there probably would have been bigger, spacing, but you guys do contribute quite a bit, especially on the employee-only options. Expiring, you were at 95% employer contributions and 85% on the higher deductible option. So those are really excellent employer contribution levels. When you get into children, obviously, you scale that back to where it was 65% and 60% on the expiring side. But yeah, it's tough right now, especially in the fully insured space with very limited carriers in the state. You used to have, Humana was in there. I've kind of talked about this before, but nobody's heard that. Humana left the group space, leaving it down to Anthem and United. And then there is an outfit out of Columbus that I looked into, and they just said they weren't competitive, and they didn't even release rates compared to what was given by Anthem. But it's tough market when you have very limited carriers to choose from, unfortunately. But I think 10% going to the 5%, that kind of puts it more. It's employee picks up half, and the county's on the budget picks up the other half almost. On if you did decide to change that contribution level by 5% instead of 10%.
I'd like to keep in mind too, I mentioned and people talked to me about it when I was going around about a self-hate savings account. I think that would help if we maybe look into that and offer it to the employees. Of course, it'd be coming out of your check, but it'd help offset future raises in the deductibles and stuff. And everybody I talked to that has one likes it. I believe I talked to Todd, he has one. I believe you favorable of that,
Yep.
like it. So that's look for the future.
Yep. Yeah, and I'll add again, the clinic, $0. Go out there if you get sick. If you just want your preventative, which I push the preventative to get ahead of the big events. If you can catch something, high blood pressure, cholesterol, whatever, Don out there does great. Obviously, it's not a place that there's some generic drugs that are there that can be. It's $0 for those generic drugs to the employee. They don't have all of the, your big drugs. Sometimes you'll still have to go to your medical provider, but at least, you can get a lot of your preventative blood work and, your minor, kind of your flu, your sicknesses, COVID, all that. You can get all that taken care of out there.
I know you deal with a lot of businesses around that have group insurance plans. What's the normal percentage that the employer takes care of typically on your?
Yeah, it varies a lot. I've got some that they'll offer it, but it's just 50%. The minimum that's required by an employer is 50%. That's what you have to pay for the employee only. Dependents, spouses, there's no rules there. You don't have to pay towards any of that. You guys do a little bit there to kind of help the employees that have children. But it varies. I've got some that are 75% that they contribute towards an employer or employee. I think I've got one that is right in your level of how much they pay towards the employee only. A lot of the employee children or employee spouse, it usually drops to the 50%. But a lot of employers want to contribute more towards the employee only option. That way, at least they're really benefiting the employee.
Right.
more than what they're required to. And to stay competitive in the market as well, with the competitors, in their industry.
Do they have similar deductibles as we have?
The $1,000 deductible, that's becoming more rare, just because of cost. To keep on going with that low of a deductible is tough on the employer. So I have seen a shift into more of your $200 to $2,500 on those. That used to have $500 deductible options. They're still out there, but they're just way up there in price. But yeah, you're seeing a shift in employers moving to higher deductibles.
Just as a reminder to everyone, so everyone knows what we've been fighting here, what many companies and municipalities are fighting with this insurance debacle. How many companies, well, this most recent time here, are you aware of that were available to you, available to us, that were actually willing to quote the county's insurance?
Yeah, on the fully insured space, so there's different little spaces. So you got fully insured, which they can't turn you away. They have to accept everything that's in the group, but they've set the rates with the state. This is their rates. And
You mean self-insured?
fully insured is where you're at right now. And then there's level funded, which is in between fully insured and self-funded. Self-funded, you guys went down that road years back, and had a situation that put a lot of stress on the county. Level funded is an in-between. It's more of your, hey, this is what you're going to pay. You're going to pay this much each month into a claims bucket is what I'd call it for easier explanation. That is the space that's great. I love that space just because it takes the premium down typically, but you have to qualify health-wise. They underwrite the group and they say, yeah, we love this group, it's healthy, come on over. Unfortunately, the health right now in the past really 2 years, it's kind of went the wrong way. And you had a good run of probably, I think, around about 3 years of good health. And then the past 2, it's went the other way. And that's going to happen in a group this size. But level funded is a great spot because it would be lower premiums. And if you have a good year, if you don't use all of that money in that claims bucket, it does get returned to the employer. So there's benefits there. But I did try, and they all turned me down. So
Would you repeat that?
I tried quoting out with those those carriers that do level funded, but they all said, no, this group is too unhealthy right now. They'll look at it again next year, but as far as this year, they were like, no, we don't want anything to do with it. So then that leaves you in the fully insured space where they can't deny you. They have to take you. They have to take the conditions. And that's where we're very limited. Humana's out of it, and they're gone. And so you have Anthem and United Healthcare that really is your 2 big options. And so that's kind of where it was left. And Anthem, when they did that lowering from 24 to 14, that's where you guys really needed to be rate-wise. So that's kind of the gist that you got 2 carriers that go back and forth.
That's just it. We don't have, let's just be honest. We haven't been healthy enough to get a good plan.
Right.
That's what it comes down to every year.
That's why I'm trying to push that preventative. out to the clinic. If you guys, if we can see an uptick, we've got about half participation in the group. We're in the 70s. You got 140, usually 140, 145 enrolled employees. But yeah, just getting the preventative to catch these things before they get to a big event, the heart attacks or the strokes and all of that. Cancer's going to come. That comes and blindsides a lot of people that you think are healthy, and then all of a sudden they get a diagnosis of cancer. So that's a tough one. But if you can minimize the large events by doing the preventative work, that's where you can try to steer the group into a healthier outcome. It takes some time.
Well, that's what we try to do with the clinic, to improve our health situation to where we have better benefits.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, we haven't received that point yet,
right.
and we're faced with it every year.
Yeah,
And the selection is when you go out and try to get bids and insurance companies to do it. Most of them don't want us.
right now, yeah, that's kind of your situation. Hopefully we can turn it around and see what comes out next year. And Tony had brought up, how do we get the calendar year and plan year back in line? We had done that move 2 years ago when Humana. We saved, I think, about $160,000 by moving it September to September, because Humana was going away anyway, and the Anthem came in and, hey, here you go. It aligns better with budgeting to see what that number is for the following year, so it makes it easier there. So it all kind of made sense to grab the savings and do that. But it's beyond this year of looking to do that, but I can look at trying to move it back to a 1-1. Carriers could, I've seen where they can do a special 15-month plan to where it gets it back to a 1-1. That way calendar year deductibles and all that gets changed to where it lines up. Yeah, I can definitely look at that. Next year.
Council, you're the ones that's looking at numbers. I was looking at you, but there's two others over there looking guilty too.
Well, it is what it is.
Win situation.
Yeah, there's a lot of uncertainty right now, especially maybe not so much for 26, but 27 with the state. So, we're just going to have to try to do the best we can. I guess we'll figure that out next week. But, there's no doubt the insurance is a big piece of this pie. So whatever you do here today will definitely affect what we do next week.
Say,
I agree with Bubba and looking at everything. Well, first of all, thank you for all your due diligence on behalf of the employees of the county. We've got to find the best case scenario in all of this. We got to find a middle ground, but we want to make it good for the employee and fair to the taxpayers at the same time. So it's a tough situation. We just got to figure out right now. But not doing anything and kicking the can down the road, unfortunately, right now is not an option. So, because we got to take into consideration raises and budget and all that kind of stuff too. So it's a tough situation, but we've got to do our due diligence. Sure, we're looking at employees and the taxpayers at the same time.
Russ, feel like saying anything?
Well, like Bubba said, we've got to do what's best for the employee and the taxpayer. But we gotta, consider retention too, you know, cause, retention is a big thing. You don't want, someone quitting that's worked for us for 5 to 7 years, on county insurance. But we have to be fair to all, you know. So I think that, whatever you commissioners decide, that's what we're gonna work on next week.
And I do appreciate all your work, and I don't know if I ask you to go 14,000.
That's all right, that's what I'm here for.
It's getting hard. Tony?
Well, I'd like to say he went probably 20,000 ways for me, so we spent several hours over there on several hours on the phone too, probably. But, yeah, done everything we could here, so.
I talked to him too.
Yep.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure everybody understood that, you know, we're just about this close, and we're not the only ones. It's every county in the state of Indiana, probably nationwide. Nobody wants to insure people anymore, health insurance, because they can't make enough money. That's why it's so difficult to get health insurance in this day and age, because nationwide, our overall health is not the best. And Zach mentioned the clinic. That's going to be a long, slow trip out of the hole we've dug, and I don't know if this will ever get better, but there's just not much we can do about it. The only thing we can do is try to create as less pain for everyone as possible, and that's our goal. So if we change this from the plan we adopted at the last meeting, my rates, I have a similar policy with several other, I think there's about 48 others with the high deductible. Mine's still going to double, but at least I have insurance, and the fact that the county is paying such a large percentage versus what, like Bubba said, 50% in the private sector, I know that doesn't help things, but I guess what I'm trying to say is everybody, I guess, has to suffer a little pain and give a little bit, including myself, because we're all county employees here. So I'm in favor of rescinding the motion that we made at the last meeting for that option and looking at the new option.
Is that a motion?
I'll put that in the form of a motion.
I'll second it.
Call for.
Aye.
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 Okay.
That gives everybody some relief based on the original plan that we adopted. So it's never going to be enough, I can tell you that.
So just to be clear, you're doing the new option contribution by 5% on all tiers.
Yes.
Well, we haven't voted on that yet, have we?
Yeah, you probably need to vote for that.
Zach, do you want to remind everybody, because we've got employees here, of what that, just give a quick rundown of the numbers of what the 5% looks like for
Yep.
the employees, please?
Yep. I can tell them the net change with that net increase.
Perfect, yeah.
So on the $3,300 deductible option, and I'll briefly talk about that. It was $3,200. The IRS, they have guidelines and they bumped that to $3,300. So that's nothing to do with you all. That's IRS. On the $3,300 deductible option, it would be increase of $40.53 a month. The $3,300 deductible option with employee plus child is a plus $128. The $1,000 deductible option, employee only, it's a $57 increase. And the employee child $1,000 deductible option is a plus 158. It's half, basically from what you voted in last week to now, you're cutting that increase in half for the employees. So that kind of met in the middle on the increase there. And just to, this goes back several meetings, but just to give you an idea on claims, from September 1st through March 31st, the amount of premium paid in was $733,060.23. So just to round up, $733,000. Total claims paid in that period, $729,000. So Anthem, you're looking at, they were up about $3,000 through that period, and obviously we know insurance companies, they don't like losing. So that set the tone for this type of increase. Luckily, we got that down from 24 to 14. But yeah, I just wanted to throw that number out again. It's just we just need a good healthy year, and we hope to have that.
Need a motion to 90%, am I right?
Yes.
Reducing 5%? 90% instead of 90.
I seen somebody with their hand up as a department head.
If I may speak, if we don't have time, this is a small portion of the county employees that wanted to be here, because the department still needs to. The numbers that Zach has provided and done additional research, can some of those not be provided in a form of a survey to all county employees' emails? So educated decision based on what
We're making an educated decision, believe me. We've looked at this forwards, backwards, upside down, right side up, and everything.
What have you heard from the employees?
Well, I think Tony, he went and talked to several in the last couple of days.
I heard, here's the problem with doing that. I would love to see that and like to see that happen in the future, by all means. And me and Zach has talked about that too. At the present time, he's under the gun to get this done because everybody's got to be signed up by September 1st and stuff. So, I'd love to have time to go around and talk to more people, but I think I got a pretty good gist of what everybody wanted, and they, like I said, they didn't have a problem with slightly raising the deductible and all that. So I met with Zach yesterday, and the numbers wasn't there. It just wasn't. So.
Yep. And I will add, we talked in I was going to create a quick little survey when open enrollment happens, just for when I meet with the employees, that they quickly just a little fill out and hand it right back to me on on next year. What I think will happen is the ones that are on the $1,000 deductible option will probably want to keep the $1,000 deductible option, but the ones that are on that $3,300 deductible option, which typically is and I'm just saying this in general, is more your younger and healthier individuals. I could see them return a survey with higher deductible requests, which is perfectly fine. But what I plan to do is create some kind of little survey for the employee, and that way we have, and I'll present that the results to you guys on what I find out there. But we'll run that survey. Unfortunately, we're time's tight right now. We got open enrollment set for next week. But no, I want to do that survey just so we know what the employees want, and kind of go from there. And maybe even, hey, is 4,000 or is it 5,000? Where is that number of where the employees are comfortable with? And it'll just be a quick little survey to fill out.
I'd like to say too, with the time that was allotted after finding out, when I found out the information and everything, we had to backtrack to even get to this point, but struggled to get to this point, but we're here and we tried, so. I think I stepped on some toes along the way, but that's okay.
That's part of it.
Yep.
Like I said, we figured it 14 ways. We know what our numbers are. We know what we got. If we want to give insurance and not do the raises, and I'm not going to go anywhere with that, that's your fair to the taxpayer.
You good with that, Todd?
Yeah.
All right, I make a motion to take the new, what we've been discussing here on the, instead of the 10% reduced to 5%, how's that on Altair?
Reduce 5% off to 95.
I'll second that.
Todd seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Back, we're not done with you.
Okay.
Sorry. I am right now, but I'll probably have more. to say,
Okay.
Okay?
I was like, what you got?
Take a break.
Okay.
Breathe. Thank you.
Thank you.
You need a motion to adjourn.
Do it.
You need a motion to adjourn. Don't you?
Adjournment.
We're gonna discuss Aflac and Colonial.
Oh. Have any of you looked at the Aflac and the Colonial?
We don't have any information on.
So I'll iterate on this. I got several phone calls over that. People, employees upset over switching because they feel comfortable with the Aflac and all that. And after doing my due diligence on that, I didn't know there was a problem or whatever, and got accosted by several people over it. And I feel it would be beneficial to us to just keep the Aflac going as is. People feels comfortable with it. We got people in middle of claims and this and that, and hey, what I've seen, I talked to, that's what started me on this whole charade. I think when I first talked to you, that's what it was about. So, and although they said the Colonial could be comparable, I feel just for safety net as far as the employees, they feel comfortable with what we've been doing, and I think we need to continue with that.
I think Dawn has got everybody enrolled, almost everybody.
Yes.
Hasn't turned it in yet, just waiting on some other five to sign up. I think that's what's.
Yeah. I've been a sounding board on this, and that's fine. Hit me all you want, so, but, and I think Zach is not in disagreement with me whatsoever on that either, so, yes, Chris?
I may be out of the loop on this, maybe everybody else knows, but I'm gonna ask, what was the problem with that? Like, I've had super good luck with it. What caused?
The way I understand it, the Colonial program would work better with our program. I don't care one way or the other. I don't take either one, but I don't know anything difference about the Colonial and the Aflac. I didn't know we had a problem.
But did anybody compare apples to apples?
There was a comparison done, but it's a very tough comparison because you don't know the individual's tiers on each plan. I was asked to just get a quote done. They quoted with mid-tiers versus what's on the Aflac invoice. It looked like there was some savings in some of the plans, but on an individual basis, you don't know. Because you don't know what tier somebody chose on the cancer plan or the.
They're all different.
Yeah, and so it's not, they're both great companies, but, yeah, that was something I provided, and, yeah, it's totally up to you guys on that. My focus was obviously on the medical insurance, but, yeah, it's whatever you all decide on that.
Just personally speaking, that I've been an Aflac member for at least 10 years, if not longer, and I have never had any problems with Aflac. I've been very happy with Dawn. I've been very happy with Aflac. If I've ever needed anything, I think several of the other county employees at the Sheriff's Department will also echo that she has done an exceptional job. And I like the fact that we've got an agent that is here locally that we can get our hands on if we need to. I treat kind of the same way with my insurance for my home and my automobiles and stuff like that. You know, they got cheaper insurance out here that you can get over a telephone and talk to somebody over the phone. But I personally like to be able to go in and see my agent and talk to my agent. That's no different with Aflac than with my personal insurance and things. I like the fact that we have someone here local. She has went above and beyond as far as I'm concerned. And there may be somebody that's had a bad experience with Aflac, but I personally have not had that bad experience. And I think I speak for most of my employees as well, that she's always been above and beyond for us, at least at the Sheriff's Department anyway.
I can speak the same with the people I talked to, and I did talk to several. One actually told me to save these places a couple of times and all that, so, and said Don's always been easy to work with. I guess there's more computerized stuff now, which, like I've said, heck, I'd have a problem with that too, you know, so, but just transitioning over from the old ways to new ways may have created something, I don't know, but in general, all the employees had nothing but good to say about it, so. And wanted to keep it because they're comfortable with it too. No offense, Zach.
No, none taken, none taken.
Todd, you?
There was no formal vote taken. I say, let sleeping dogs lie, leave things the way they were. This supplemental insurance is an option for each individual employee. It's like former President Obama once said, if you want to keep your insurance, you can keep your insurance. So you have the freedom to go whichever way you want in your supplemental insurance. And as a courtesy to the employees' convenience, we have always continued to payroll deduct, and I didn't realize it the other day, but we actually payroll deduct YMCA memberships in this county, which is a good thing, goes a long way toward our overall health and getting our ratings up. So I say leave things the way they are. There's no vote necessary for that, I don't believe.
I appreciate that.
I'll call motion for adjournment.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.